Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to do a live session on accessing your intuition. Some of the skills and steps that will really help you to be able to access and understand the natural gift that you were born with, which is intuition. So I'm going to start today's live with a quote by Albert Einstein, and it goes like this: "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." So I'm going to start by sharing with you some thoughts around what is intuition exactly, because a lot of people probably think it's a little bit woo-woo, and some people think only certain people have it, and some people think it is something that you access with tarot cards and crystals and palm reading, and it may be, but here are some ideas around intuition that might help to clarify for you. First of all, it's natural and we all have it. We all have intuition. Just some of us have forgotten how to access it through the process of living, the experience of life. So in other words, we're all born intuitive, and we learn to silence it through the experience of life. Intuition can be thought of as the voice of your soul. It's a birthright, not a gift. Everyone's born with intuition. Intuition creates amazing synchronicities in life. Those, holy cow, I can't believe that just happened. Not a coincidence, synchronicity. It gives you access to incredible opportunities. Your intuition gives you access to amazing opportunities because intuition is outside of your control and outside of your comfort zone. And that's where your synchronicities live. It can be thought of as tapping into a universal wisdom, if that feels right for you. It can also be thought of, this is kind of fun, like a superpowered GPS system that just knows where to go. So the GPS nav system in your vehicle that you just say, I want to go here, and it just knows where to take you. You can kind of think of your intuition like that. So intuition is also the ability to understand something without conscious reasoning or thinking, such as a feeling. We've all had this, a feeling like someone's watching me. And you turn around and sure enough, there's someone watching you or following you. Or love at first sight can sometimes be thought of as intuition. Deciding to not do something because it just didn't feel right can be thought of as intuition. Or when something happens to someone and you just, at that time, you just knew something wasn't right, but you didn't know what it was. That is also intuition. For me, I have a really strong ability to read a room. When I go into a room, intuitively, I know what's a dark energy and what's a light energy. And it just is, I don't have to think about it. It's just something that intuitively I know. And I'm always drawn toward that light energy. So there's one thing that's always, I shouldn't say always, that will reliably get in the way of all of our intuition. And of course, that's our mind, our thinking, our thoughts, thinking about the past, thinking about the present, thinking about the future, thinking about your task list or your to-do list, or what you did yesterday that didn't work out, or today's conversation that didn't go the way you wanted it to, or the yoga class that you missed last week, or the piece of cheesecake that you ate last night, and so on and so on and so on. So mentating, the process of constantly thinking and thinking and thinking, that will reliably get in the way of your intuition. So another thing that can get in the way of our intuition on a regular basis is what other people think of us, or social norms or indoctrinations, because we all want to be liked and included, and we don't want to be judged. So sometimes it's easier to just think like everybody else instead of listening to our intuition. And all of this can cloud the space for us to hear the intuitive messages that we're meant to hear. So I'm going to give you, I think, 8 skills or tools that you can use to start tapping into or practicing tapping into your intuition. And the first one is to clear your mind. And for some people, it's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm listening to Charlie Brown's teacher here. But clearing your mind on all levels is actually quite challenging because you have to release control. And that's something that a lot of people have a hard time with, releasing control. So we can't trick our energy or our intuition. So clearing the mind means clearing the mind on all levels. And I'm going to share with you some different ways that you can do that. And some people initially might have to actually find like a quiet space to be able to clear their mind, and maybe they might have to light a candle or play some quiet music or burn some sage or smoke a joint. Maybe not the smoke a joint part, lay down, whatever you have to do in order to clear your mind. Initially, do whatever you need to do. But eventually, you'll be able to clear your mind anywhere, whether you're driving in your car, whether you're in a conversation with someone, whether you're in a room full of people. The more you practice it, the better you get at clearing your mind and just being quiet in the mind. So as difficult as that is, because it's a release of control, that is the first step. The second step is focused attention or location and awareness. So your awareness is independent of your body or your location, and it's not bound by time or space. So your awareness moves around you and you can manipulate your awareness. For example, wherever you're sitting right now, we're just going to manipulate your awareness a little bit here so you can get a feel for what that means. So notice your right ear. And without looking, notice what it's doing outside. Notice the temperature of your room. Notice if you feel any pain anywhere in your body, and if so, what does that pain feel like? Then quickly come to where's the top of my head? What's my right leg doing? This is just like manipulating and moving awareness. So really being able to move your awareness independent of time and space. And this isn't about thinking, it's about noticing and observing. So just observing, getting very centered in your being rather than in your analyzing. Again, releasing control. And this is going to be this is going to play throughout this talk today, is the process of releasing control in order to be able to tap into your intuition. So this work is not about perfection and precision. As a matter of fact, that will totally get in the way of your intuition. So accessing your intuition, it's intuitive. It's not a wrestling match with your brain. So the brain is great. It's wonderful. It's amazing. And we're going to talk a bit about that. But intuition is separate of the mind. So number 2, focused attention. Focus your attention without attaching to it. The third one is grounding energetically. Sometimes this can feel a little bit woo-woo for people too, but it's actually very important. And people choose to ground in different ways. Wherever you are right now, wherever you're seated, you can ground energetically. And you can ground the room that you're in. You can ground the project that you're working on. Basically what you're trying to do is connect to Earth, to Mother Earth. And you can do it, a lot of people do it like a tree root coming from their root chakra. Some people do it like a waterfall. Some people do it like a golden braid or a beam of light. You can do it however you want to, or you can just notice that your feet are planted firmly on the ground and that you're centered here in space in this moment in time. That is really important. And you can actually play around with grounding. If you're not too sure what the hell is she talking about, you can actually practice with a friend. Like say you're each standing and you consciously imagine yourself grounded to Mother Earth through a root system, let's say, and see how difficult it is for someone to actually pick you up. And then unground yourself and get them to pick you up again, or even just push you. It's amazing how powerful that practice is grounding yourself into Mother Earth. Even better if you can do it in nature. So the other thing that is really important is to understand what really will impact you grounding energetically, such as like not enough sleep, not eating well, not enough exercise, negative self-talk, personal judgment. Like all of those things will get in the way of grounding energetically. They will cause a disconnect or a detachment or a distraction, and you will not be able to access your intuition, or you will not be able to hear the messages that are coming through intuitively if there's a whole bunch of stuff in the way. So number 3 is grounding energetically. Number 4 is to be present in your body, which is sort of the opposite of clearing your mind. Because the more present you are in your body, the less you are in your mind. And the more you're in your body, the stronger your intuition and your guidance will be. So again, this isn't about analyzing or being perfect. It's just about noticing and observing, okay, at this moment in time, sitting in this chair, grounded to Mother Earth, mind is clear, and I'm just noticing where I am relative to this room. Not thinking, just noticing. The 5th one, which is probably the hardest one, especially for us women who are busy. We're busy making sure everyone's perfect, that life is perfect for everyone and everyone's taken care of, and who gives a shit about me? Let's just make sure everyone else is taken care of. So this is for you. I'm speaking directly to you. We need to learn to turn down the noise on the analyzer and the perfectionist and the control. You can call her a control freak if you want to, whatever you want to call it. In other words, turning down the control. So you can actually think about this. So as you're sitting here right now, you can think about like an analyzer or a perfectionism or a control knob in front of you, and it goes from 0 to 10. And imagine where you are at any given time on that, with that knob. Are you at a 7 or an 8? 10 is like, just like bulldozer. Like you're gonna bulldoze your way through life. Oh, that has very predictable outcomes. Okay, so the thing is, it is important to have your analyzer. It's very important to have a balanced mind, period, to be able to analyze things and to turn the analyzer off. So some of the things that you will notice when your analyzer is fully cranked is that you are really focused on details and precision at the expense of everything else. Perfectionism. If it's not perfect, then I can't do it. Whereas when you turn your analyzer right off, that's when you can actually see the big picture. When the analyzer is fully turned on, cranked up really loud, all you can see is this little tunnel, this immediate thing that needs to be done. It needs to be done perfectly. The second thing is when your analyzer is turned fully on, that's when you're really able to assemble information. You know, it's important. We need to be able to do that. Some of you watching, I know you're juggling a lot of balls at once. And so you need to have your analyzer on to a certain extent. When your analyzer is fully turned off, you have an innate understanding, a deep knowing, a holistic understanding. That's when your analyzer is turned off. Sometimes it's good to have it on, sometimes it's good to have it off. Think of it this way. When your analyzer is fully turned on, it's like reading a map of where you're trying to get to. So you might make mistakes, the map might have changed, you might have to ask directions, you might be going in the wrong direction, you have to switch. Whereas when your analyzer is turned off, you just have this knowing, I think we turn right here. I'm gonna head towards that mountain because it feels like that's kind of the direction we need to be going in. When your analyzer is fully turned on, you look really smart. But when your analyzer is turned off, you actually look really wise. Analyzer is a physical sense. Analyzer off is an energetic sense. And when the analyzer is on, that's where analysis paralysis or analysis perfection and control is like fully on board. And when your analyzer button is turned off, that's when your intuition can show up. You can actually hear the messages that are trying to get through. Both are good when they're in balance. Sometimes the analyzer needs to be on, sometimes it needs to be off, sometimes it needs to be at 50%. So overthinking creates tremendous stress in the body, in our sleep, in our relationships, in our work, and in our life experiences. And a calm mind increases your creativity and your imagination and your intuition and your deep understanding. So really being able to calm the mind. So quieting the mind is challenging. Try being the observer of your thoughts without participating in them or getting attached to them. Because it's amazing when you start to notice that your thoughts actually create your emotions and your emotions create your reality in that moment. So I'll say that again. Your thinking or your thoughts create your emotions, which create your current reality. So if whatever it is you're thinking is making you like really happy and joyful, well, then your experience is going to be one of happiness. If whatever it is you're thinking is causing you sadness and depression and anger and frustration and bitterness, then that's going to be your current reality. So just noticing in this moment, oh shit, man, I am like wired for sound and not in a good way, then you have an opportunity to sort of do something with that. So what was that? Was number 5, turn down the noise. Good luck with that. Number 6 is be curious. So be patient, let it come. You can't push intuition into being. You have to listen kind of with your third eye if you're into that. Your deep knowing, your physical energy. For me, it's a sense of knowing. I know things about people. I know things that I shouldn't know about people, that I haven't been told. I can read people's energy like that, and it's not something that I choose to do. It's just always there. So intuition is for me, that is my strongest form of intuition, is an energetic feeling. So at first it's hard to know what is intuition and what is thinking, right? Like if you're practicing and all of a sudden you get like some information and it's your first question is just a second, did I think that, or was that something that just came to me? Being able to distinguish the two comes with practice. You will just know which is a thought and which is an intuitive piece of information. And I'm going to hit on that at the very end of this. So just be curious and be patient. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know where that came from. Have you ever had that? Like you're sitting there and all of a sudden you get this weird and wild thought or idea and it's like, where the hell did that come from? Intuition. That's when you are able to actually receive insights and pay attention. Pay attention to the information that you're receiving. So right now, for whatever reason, I am receiving a lot of combinations of ones. 111, 111, 1111, 111, 11111. Everywhere. And if you Google, like they're everywhere. It's like every time I pick up my phone, it's either 111 or 1111, and I'm not looking for time. It just happens to be there. Or it shows up in an email, or it shows up on a date, or whatever it happens to, or on a license plate. And if you look up the meaning of 1111 combinations, the spiritual reference, it's that the spirit world is trying to get a hold of your attention, and they're letting you know that they're available. And that you're open to insight and information. So just notice, like if the same things keep showing up for you, a butterfly in the winter, I don't know what they are, it could be anything. The same color keeps showing up over and over and over. Pay attention to it. It's a message, it's information. For me, most of my insights come in nature or the middle of the night or when I'm exercising. And it all makes sense now why the most amount of intuitive information comes at those times. So when I'm in nature, you're basically connected to Gaia or Mother Earth, which is such a big piece of intuition, is grounding. Secondly is when I'm sleeping is when my mind is the quietest. I always wake up at the same time, and it has nothing to do with menopause. It has to do with that's when my mind is the quietest, and all of a sudden I get so much information in the middle of the night. And it's not analytical information. It's like, why didn't I totally forgot I was supposed to do this thing 4 days ago, and boom, out of nowhere it comes. Reminder, Mia, you forgot to do that thing. I was like, shit. And then the third thing is when I'm exercising. And the reason why is because when I'm exercising, I'm not in my head, I'm in my body. And the most information I get is when I'm exercising in the forest, running in the woods, walking in the woods, biking in the woods, whatever it happens to be, that's when I get the most amount of information. So I think if I could figure out how to sleep while exercising in the forest, I get quadruple the amount of information. So the last thing is practice. So the best analogy I can share is that if you want to learn to play a musical instrument or run a marathon, you can't read a book and learn how to play an instrument or run a marathon. you can't listen to 50,000 podcasts and learn how to run a marathon. Well, you can learn how, but you're probably not going to enjoy the process. You're not going to learn how to play an instrument by listening to a podcast. You're not going to learn how to play an instrument by hanging out with the band. You're not going to learn how to run a marathon by having coffee with elite runners. It comes from practicing. So investing the time, focusing your energy, hiring the appropriate person, mentor, leader, coach, trainer, whatever it happens to be, to work with you, making sure you have the correct equipment. All of those things are important for your practice. And by equipment, I mean, you might just need to have a quiet space to go where you're not bombarded with information around you in order to be able to hear and access your intuition. So the more you practice, the better and better and better you get at it. And you will notice that you can access your intuition anywhere. You can access your intuition in a room full of people, in your car while you're driving, in a meeting. Actually, it's pretty powerful if you can access your intuition in a meeting. It's amazing how you will ground and quiet a room when you yourself are the most powerful energy in that room. So the more you practice, the better you will get at it. I want to share that there's two ways, just try to remember that there's two ways that we grow, through pain and through insight. Pain pushes and insight pulls. So the analytical brain pushes and intuition pulls. So the more you can tap into and access your birthright, which is intuition, the more synchronicities you are going to notice start unfolding for you. So I started this today with a quote by Albert Einstein, and I'm going to finish it with the same quote because some of you guys missed it. It's such a beautiful quote. And just to remember, Albert Einstein is older than me and probably you and probably all of us put together. So he was thinking this shit long before any of us were thinking it. So Albert Einstein said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So that was my little spiel for the day. So if any of you that are watching this, whether it's the live or whether it's the recording, are really curious and wanting to learn how to access your birthright, your innate knowing, your intuition, in order to change sort of your current reality, so they all go hand in hand, then reach out. Let's work together. I mean, I've got all sorts of options that you can choose from in order to, depending on what's right for you. So you can connect with me through probably any of my social media has a link in the bio, and we can book a free conversation and figure out what is your next first step and best first step. So just practice that today. I gave you 8 steps. You know, get grounded, clear your mind, be quiet, let go of control, and notice what information starts arriving for you. I could share with you so many that I've had in the last 2 weeks. Some of them are just like head shakers, but it's all pretty cool. So good luck accessing your intuition. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are. We all have the same amount of intuition. It's just buried under more or less shit. So all the best. Have a great day and chat with you soon.